one anime that uses Sephirotic symbolism very heavily, but very subtly, to the point that what you basically have to do is watch up until the movie, see there's a there's a diagram of the Sephiroth in the movie, then go back and watch the series and realize it's been there all along, is NGE. Here's, big moment at the end of Eva where they create the anti-AT field, and it takes the form of an upside-down diagram of the Sephiroth.
They don't bother hiding that, do they?
No, they really don't.
It's still the original Hebrew and everything.
Yeah, it's got the Hebrew in it. It's actually one of the classic diagrams. If you search for the Sephiroth online, this will be like, you'll see this on somewhere on the first couple of hits, right side up. I'm pretty sure right side up, this is the page image for the Wikipedia page on Sephiroth. Obviously not with Ava 1 in the middle, or the cross. But this is, and the fact that it's upside down, I think, is one of two. I don't really understand why it's upside down. I think it's one of two things. Either it's because, right side up, it's the process of creation. Upside down, it's the process of destruction. Or right side up, it's how man climbs up to God. Upside down, it's how man pulls God down. Which both of those are kind of what they're trying to accomplish in End of Eva. Either way, Eva 1's position here is really significant. Eva 1 is in Tiferet. And Tiferet, among the various things Tiferet represents, Tiferet is the heart. When you talk about the Sephiroth representing body parts, it represents beauty. Each Sephiroth when you're looking at it as the process of creation, each of the Sephiroth has when you look at it as the process of ascension, the process of getting closer to God, each of the Sephiroth has a goal that you have to complete before you can move on to the next Sephiroth. The goal of Tiferet is the development of a human being to his greatest potential. It's the release of all the hidden potential that the person in Tiferet has. And what is happening to Shinji at this moment? It's the release of all his potential. He's becoming the most important person in the world for one brief moment. That's one of the ways it uses it. But I didn't want to make the whole panel on Judaism and Eva, though honestly I could do a panel on that.
Next year.
There's another one that gets heavily used, which is Gebera. This was actually my first clue to how, and this is actually my impetus for reading up on Kabbalah, because I wasn't really interested in it until I watched Eva, and I noticed Shinji constantly staring at his left arm. Constantly staring at his left arm. And I was like, does that mean something? What's up with left arms? And so I started looking at different, symbolic meanings for the left arm. In Kabbalah, the Sephiroth of Gebera represents the left arm. It represents strength, but it represents a very particular kind of strength. The two Sephiroth that represent the arms represent two different important impulses in becoming, in achieving your potential in the heart in between. There's two important things you have to do. One is using the right arm to bring closer to you all the things that are good. All the people who are good influences on you, all the good things in this world that you love and cherish. The right arm, the Sephiroth of the right arm brings them closer. All the bad things, all the things you want to reject, all the people that hurt you, all the stuff that you hate, you push away with the left arm. That is what the strength of Gebera is for. It's the strength of rejection. It's the strength of pushing away the things that are alien to you and that you don't want being close to you. And yeah, Shinji is obsessed with that. Shinji is constantly trying to shove away people, but he also craves contact with people. Because he's so obsessed on his left arm, he hasn't figured out how to work his right arm. And the angels, in their attempts to contact humanity, are constantly trying to destroy his left arm. In the very first episode, Sashio breaks his left arm as its first opening attack. Zeruel cuts off Shinji's left arm. Cuts off Ava 1's left arm in the epic fight right before Ava Dinner Theater starts. And Shinji then regenerates Ava 1's left arm by sheer force of will. If there's any, going with the Sephiroth symbolism, if there's any body part that Shinji could regenerate by force of will, it's his left arm. It's his ability to reject things. And of course, at the moment of instrumentality, when the power of humans to reject one another is being destroyed, Rey's left arm falls off. Rey at this point is Adam and Lilith and a human. She's symbolic of all humanity, and there goes her left arm. Time for instrumentality to start, because the power of Gebera is broken. So that's an intro to NGE's use of Sephiroth. There are a lot of other uses of Sephirotic symbolism. I didn't even get into Gendo's office, which is a whole nother can of worms, because this panel can't be 5 hours long. In fact, how much time do I actually have? So I've still got like an hour. All right, let me talk a little about Gendo's office. In Gendo's office, there is a Sephirotic diagram on the floor. And Gendo sits at Keter. Keter is the crown. It is the highest of all Sephiroth. It is the one closest to God, but in the process of creation, it's the initial spark that doesn't participate in the rest. It's the initial inspiration, but then it's done. It doesn't get to carry out the creation. It just sparks it off. And of course, that's what happens at the end of the series. Gendo has been trying to get this event to happen, this moment of instrumentality, with the intention of him being in control of it, and at the very last minute, it's hijacked by Shinji. Rey and Shinji take it over, and Gendo ends up having no part in it. He ends up getting his head bitten off. That's another good example of this Sephirotic symbolism. I don't have with me notes on any of the others, but believe you me, there is a freaking ton of it. So I'm going to move on to another series that it doesn't use the individual Sephiroth, but it makes good use of the symbolism of the Sephirotic diagram as a whole. Ed's Gate has on it a map of the human soul. Specifically, it depicts, and of course, the gate is basically your soul. It's your connection to the divine. It's where you meet the truth. It's where you connect to alchemy. It's exactly what the Sephiroth symbolizes. And specifically, it's depicting the Sephiroth as the tree of life. It's a tree rooted in the heavens and descending down to earth. And of course, trades it to bring Al back to life. I don't know if this is like a quote-unquote real Sephirotic diagram or one they made up for the show. I have been unable to find this particular diagram anywhere, but every time I look for it, all I find is FMA stuff. So I think they may have made it up for the show, and if they did, good job. The other thing that I find really interesting about it is that those feathery things coming out of the bottom that are kind of like the branches or fruits of the tree, all have, if you look, if you get a really high quality copy of FMA and look really closely, they have the names of angels on them. So this is kind of, I just really like this diagram because that is one of the things that Sephiroth symbolize that I didn't mention. It's the tree of life. It's the key to divine revelation. It's the key to immortality, which is why then alchemy. This is where FMA got it, is by way of alchemy. Medieval alchemy absorbed a lot of Kabbalah in its quest for immortality. Interestingly, Father's Gate has no image whatsoever. And in a little bit, I'll talk a little bit more about FMA, and I'll kind of talk about why I think that is from a Jewish perspective. But I find it interesting. Everybody else has a map of their soul on their gate. Father's soul is entirely blank. And I think it kind of ties into what I think Father is.